Today we have invited Iqbal Abdullah, who bootstrapped his company Xoxzo. Xoxzo had a revenue of 150 million Japanese yen in 2020. In September of 2021, Iqbal sold a 67% stake in Xoxzo for 233 million Japanese yen. In this episode, we find out how Iqbal grew his company Xoxzo, what are the challenges with B2B sales in Japan, what were his reasons for selling the majority stake in Xoxzo, and finally, what advice does he has for us to build our own successful business in Japan?
Hello everyone, this is the Tech Culture Podcast, where we have conversations with startup founders in Japan running successful businesses. We uncover the strategies and the insights from the founders that people who want to build their own successful business here in Japan, so people like us can use. I'm your host, Kaustubh.
And I'm your host, Prashant. So Iqbal, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, folks. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here. I'm surprised that I got the invitation at all, actually, because I don't expect to be on this. I'm not a face where you see everywhere, but I'm happy to be here again. And hopefully, whatever we discuss and we talk about today will be of beneficial to anyone who's listening in.
Before we start, I wanted to ask, how do you pronounce the name of your company? Like, it's XOXZO, so how do you pronounce it?
Xoxzo.
Xoxzo.
Xoxzo. So you can just replace the X with Z and then K in the middle, Xoxzo.
Oh, okay. Xoxzo.
That is actually the most common question when I meet someone, potential client or someone just on the street. The thing was that I was hoping that when people start to ask these kind of questions, they will remember us better, because this is one company which I do not know how to pronounce, right? So they will remember that better.
So it's a marketing ploy, right?
Which is something which I thought after the whole thing, actually. So I didn't think about it when registering the company name. But then after a while, I said, okay, maybe this might be a good thing. People start to ask all the time. The background story is that originally before Xoxzo, the company's name was Marimo. I decided on Marimo in 2007. At the time when I was writing in the application to register the company, it's not a vegetable, it's an algae, right? So it's a Marimo algae, which is very famous in Hokkaido. During one of our trips to Hokkaido, I put it on my desk, and then I realized that Marimo is a small algae. It's actually a living thing. It doesn't grow very fast, but it's living. It grows. So I was thinking something of like, the company can be like a Marimo, small, but gives something back and also grows. And it's also a play of words between the Malay language and also the English language. Mari means calm and Mo means more, like motto. So it was Marimo. But after a few years, I decided to make it sort of like more international. It was marimo.co.jp, and we need a .com for that. And as you know, the usual words for .com is already taken. So I think I wrote the script, and then it came out. And I told the script that I need to use an X in there, that it has to be less than 5 letters, and it came out with Xoxzo.com, and that's what we decided upon, without thinking much, actually. Well, not we decided upon. Well, I was the one who decided on it, and the rest of the team were actually against it. They said, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I don't know how to pronounce it. I said, well, let's just go with it. I don't really quite care how to pronounce it. Turns out to be a very pertinent question, comes up all the time after that. So that's the background story about it. And then after that, I keep on telling people, okay, it's a marketing ploy. People keep asking about how it's pronounced, so hopefully people will remember. This is the one company which I don't know how to pronounce. And then turns out that X represents the cross-section of stuff, which is telecommunications between two people or multiple parties that we do. And I didn't know this at the time, but people sign off on their emails or letters with XOXO, which means kisses, right?
Yes, hugs and kisses.
Yeah, hugs and kisses, right? Hugs and kisses. And that's also something which we tell people, oh, this is actually represents hugs and kisses. But to be frank, none of that was thought about when we created the name, when I registered the name.
This is a really great icebreaker. Whenever you want to approach someone and start a conversation, you already have one topic in your pocket. So you can just give your business card, say, I'm founder of XOXZO, and that's the first questions they will ask, right? It's quite good.
Yeah, you should try it sometime.
Yeah. So when you change the name of your company from Marymore to Xoxzo, so one important reason you had in your mind was making your company more international. Was there any other reasons to change your name? Like, did something else in the background in your company also change when you renamed your company?
That was the main reason, but then all other things came together after that. So first we get the .com, and then we made it more. We had our English site, and then we tried to talk to people from outside of Japan. Up at that point, I think 99% of our customers were Japanese companies in Japan, and they have only interest in the Japanese market. Following that, though, that opened up stuff like, okay, who should we hire next? For example, the people that we want to join with the team. And that opened up possibilities to, now it makes sense to actually talk to other people outside of Japan. I think at that time, well, that's not really true, because from 2007, the company itself has been on remote. We've been working remotely since 2007, even before the advent of all these co-working spaces that you see right now, which I'm also in currently doing the podcast with you today. The reason why we were remote at the time was more of a practical rather than of an ideological point of view. My thinking at the time was that we only do software, so there's no real reason why we should be in a space together. And above all else, there was only myself at the time. So we just rented an office to use the address, register the company, and the rest of us, well, at the time there was two of us, the founders, when we started Marymore, and none of us needed to be in an office anyway. And then we just started doing stuff remotely. After 2 years, the other founder, he left to go back to the United States for the reason because we couldn't pay him anymore. He was doing things for free basically for 2 years, and he said, hey dude, I need to get on with my career. There's other stuff that I want to do. So I bought over his stake in the company, and since 2009, it was all myself, and our current CTO Kamal joined us in 2010. So he's still with us, and there was just the two of us for the next 5 years. So it's basically just remote. There wasn't Slack obviously at that time, so we were using Skype chat to communicate. Yes, and emails, of course, and emails. And then the rest of us came on board after that. Most of them were still, I think, Malaysians because of my strong connections to the developer community over there. But after we came into Xoxzo.com, then we started hiring people from Russia, Ufa, from Philippines, from South Korea, and also from Kolkata, India. So I try not to use country names, but mostly city names when I want to refer to where we are all from. Changing the name also changed how I think the rest of us looked at where we want to be going forward, and that opened up the mindset of internalization, I guess.